Did you know that the size of your giant tells you much more about who you are instead of who you're not? Hi there. I'd like to welcome you into my heart through the Unravel channel. I am Octoria Robinson, the Unraveling expert. On my channel, what we deal with is common issues that have detrimental impacts. I believe that I've been gifted with a gift to help awaken your expectation. Today, I've prepared a powerful message on helping you to win with what you have. Are you ready to unravel, my friends? Let's go. For those of you that have joined me on this journey, I want to thank you. You're aware that we have been really going after some roadblocks that excuses create, and today we've got 3 more that we're addressing. The first one is going to be, I am not ready. I've said it and I meant it and I've been hindered behind it. Second one is, I can't handle failure. Who feels like they're ever prepared for failure? Third and final one is, I don't believe that I can do it. If we're honest here in this moment, I'm certain that we've all felt that way. Maybe you're feeling that way right now concerning something that you desire so deeply to experience, but haven't made that move towards it. I hope that this video today really inspires you into action and look at what you have differently. I'm so excited again. Let's continue. My experience has shown me this fact right here, rather this truth. The presence of excuses is always the indication of a fear. I know this personally. One of my largest excuses that I've used over the duration of my life is I don't have enough money. Resources is a real struggle that many of us will face or perhaps are facing right now. I recall a time when I only had $3 to my name, more than a couple of $1,000 in expenses, 5 children who depended on me, and all I got is $3. Man, I cannot describe just how down I felt and the number of excuses that I used to remain stuck instead of becoming creative and partnering with the solutions that I wanted to see. Today, we are going to be inspired in this area utilizing a story found in the Bible. It's located in 1 Samuel chapter 17. You're encouraged to read this in its entirety. I'm going to focus on David and Goliath, and the fact that Goliath was a giant that even Saul's army feared. Yet something inside of young David said that he could win. What it would feel like to be young again and have the attitude of David. But great news is, no matter what your age is today, you can still take on that attitude and decide you have something to win with. Let's talk about who Goliath was. Goliath was this well-respected and renowned and even revered champion warrior, one that people just didn't try. He was that dude. He would be one in school that, like, oh my goodness, such and such is here, and everybody kind of like trembled. That was who Goliath was. He had a record, a resume, a track history of winning against anything and anyone that opposed him. In fact, he's described as being over 9 feet tall. I'm 5'6", and I'm looking up and thinking, like, if a 9-foot anything got in front of me, what that would kind of make me feel like. So you got this 9-foot well-known champion wearing over 126 pounds of armor with a personal shield barrier, one that is carrying a shield to protect him. That's Goliath. Now let's talk about what David had. David had musical skills. All right, that's cool. He was brave and courageous. I kind of think I am too. He was eloquent, nice looking, some people describe him as. He had confidence and experience with the faithfulness of God. And he had 5 smooth stones and a slingshot. Now, if you, again, are standing in the face of this well-known warrior that's 9 feet taller than you, and all you got is a harp, a slingshot, 5 stones, a record with the Lord that only you and God knows about, and you're standing in front of a giant, how intimidating would that be? What excuse would come up in that moment for you to buckle and run from that giant? That's a real question that I'd like you to consider. Is there a giant right now of unbelief standing in front of you that you're running from? Saying, I'm not ready. I'm afraid of failure. I don't believe I can do this. Here's some other facts about David. Did you know that David didn't go down there to fight Goliath? David actually was on a whole other mission. He was sent by his father to go bring food to the soldiers. He heard about this giant that was disrespecting Jerusalem's name, and he became indignated and was like, what? I'm gonna take care of him. Because remember, he had a part of his strength was he had a record with him and the Lord. He said, in fact, the same God that delivered me from the claws and the claws from the lion and the bear is the same God that'll help me to have victory over him. Saul the king laughed at him. His brothers laughed at him. But yet David was convinced he had something to win with. Here is what I'd like for you to continue to consider as you're thinking about a giant of unbelief that you may be facing right now. What was Goliath's advantages? And what was David's advantages? I believe the number one advantage that Goliath believed that he had was confidence in himself. He had a record. Some may say that was something he should be confident in. Whereas, on the other hand, David had confidence in God. When facing a giant, do you take confidence in yourself to that battle or confidence in the Lord? It's a real question. Because if we're talking about winning with what you have, then you have to know what advantage are you entering in the battle with. I want us to just think about that for a second. What advantage am I taking into a battle? For me, as I expressed, money was an issue. It was an issue, it was an issue, it was an issue. I made it an excuse to live in a cycle of lack because I felt like I never had enough, and every time an expense that outweighed my financial capacity arose, I bowed and I ran and I was stuck in it. I chose never to experience victory because I made excuses that supported a fear of facing a giant that I had something to win against. I'd like to give you a couple of unraveling principles concerning excuses that arise when we face giants like the 3 that we have identified, not the 3 like Goliath. Here's one. Excuses will wage war on your potential. Absolutely. This means war. The minute you insert an excuse, then it becomes to pummel and destroy your ability and your confidence to find success in that area. Second thing is, the valley is where you will find your victory if you don't run from it. What you didn't know about that story is the Philistines was on one side of the hill and Saul's army was on the other side. The in-between, which was the battleground, was the valley where David found his victory. In wrapping up this story, guys, would you believe that David came out victorious with one, not five, one smooth stone and a slingshot? He took down this 9-foot Goliath of a giant. He took it down, even though he had everything rooting against him. No one thought he would win, but what they didn't understand was his advantage was his confidence and history with the Lord. He took that in and he knew without a doubt, no matter what size of a giant is, I will never make an excuse to not trust and have complete confidence in the one that brings me to a circumstance. So he didn't make an excuse that I wasn't ready, I wasn't prepared, let me go train, let me get me a high-class trainer. He didn't make an excuse about what if I lose. He was confident that he would win because his confidence was not in himself, it was in the Lord. And most certainly he believed in himself, because if God had given him faith to enter a battle, then God had given him faith to win it. Wow, he won. So what's the key that I want to provide for you as we wrap up today's video on learning how to win with what you have? Here's that key. Some things you don't learn to do, you were born to do. Let that rest on your heart for a moment. David embraced he was born to win because God was with him. And it just, nothing mattered as long as God was with him. What were you born to win in? But you're making excuses to continue losing. What giant were you born to slay that you haven't yet stepped into your valley with the confidence of the Lord inside of you? Today, I pray this key unravels you to that truth, and you step out and you step in front of it and you say, the same God that has done a history of work with and through me, been there when I acknowledged him, been there when I didn't acknowledge him, been there when I was thankful, been there when I was ungrateful. He's just been consistent. That same God is right with me and he's not going to abandon me. Will you put those excuses away, pick up your stones, pick up your slingshot and win? Will you? You got a key. This is something that is going to help you break free. You were born to win. You don't have to learn to. I am so excited about what impact this is going to have on your lives. I hope that you'll take a moment and comment below. I'd love to hear where and how this inspired you into action. I'd love to hear how I can add more value through these videos. So take a moment, not only commenting, but also subscribe. And if you're interested in continuing to unravel in truths that cause you to live in your authentic, powerful self, I'd encourage you to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, social media, and Twitter at Octoria. If you haven't grabbed a copy of Unraveled Potential or Unraveled by Fear, be sure to grab one on Amazon. I tell you, they're going to just go above and beyond what you could imagine or hope for, helping you to live these truths out loud. And last but not least, in closing, guys, remember this truth. You were not born worn, so you don't have to live torn. God bless you.